Hey everyone, welcome back to Retropiece Theater and our playthrough of King's Quest VI. This is Heather here again, and as you might remember from last time, we just met the court clown Giallo, who is extremely concerned about Cosima's well-being, and we got ourselves a magic map, which can only be used in sight of water, which is why we're back here on the beach. So,
Alexander pulls out his magic map.
alright. So, Isle of the Crown is where we are right now. We're going to make a short visit
Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
to the Isle of the Sacred Mountain. Pick up a couple of things. Okay. And we're going to grab two things here off the beach.
Alexander notices an unusually large coal-black feather lying on the beach.
We're going to pick that up.
Alexander takes the feather.
And over here,
There's an ugly flower growing near the base of the cliff.
I'm going to grab this as well.
Alexander picks the flower and is startled by its hideously strong skunk-like odor. For a moment, he can smell nothing else.
Now, the Isle of the Sacred Mountain has this massive cliff in front of it.
There appears to be something etched into the face of the cliff. Alexander decides to get closer.
It's got a series of riddles on it. We're not going to do anything with it right now, but that is something to keep in mind. Alright, so now we're just going to grab our magic map.
Alexander pulls out his magic map.
And we're going to make an almost equally short visit to the Isle of the
Alexander
Beast.
feels a strange pulling sensation.
Oh, the Isle of the Beast is pretty. Little deer over
A
here.
little fawn is feeding on a grassy hillock near the sea.
So, we're not going to be able to get very far. If you remember, the ferryman told us that. Because of this.
A pond lies across the path. The water boils as if over some magical flame.
And just for fun. Oh, that's not the button I wanted. If you want to see what happens if you try to cross the boiling lake. As we can see, there's something right over here.
An old abandoned hunter's lamp is hanging on one of the trees. Alexander wonders who might have hunted in these dense woods. To get to the lamp, Alexander must first cross the pond.
Well, let's do that.
Alexander decides to brave the boiling pond. And soon realizes a deep sympathy for soup vegetables as he learns the true meaning of being in a stew. Tickets up. Next. It looks like Alexander's in a bit of a stew.
Well, that went well. So, we're going to head back to the beach.
Alexander pulls out his magic map.
And this time we'll make a stop on the Isle of
Alexander
Wonder.
feels a strange pulling sensation.
Now, we're not going to try to leave the beach because when we do, there's going to be some guards that come up and we're not prepared to deal with them. But we are going to do one thing here.
Oyster beds line the seashore. Most of the oysters are sound asleep. One of the oysters is sitting up in bed and doesn't look very happy. He seems to be the only one who can't sleep. In the oyster's mouth, Alexander can see a glint of white.
Let's talk to this oyster.
Why aren't you asleep like the other oysters?
Oh, I'm so weary, but I can't sleep. I have a terrible ache in my mouth.
What's wrong with your mouth?
No offense, but it hurts too much to talk.
So, this boy oyster isn't able to get any sleep. Let's look in our inventory. We do have this book we picked up.
Alexander opens the bargain book and reads a paragraph at random.
2 dulcimers raised to the degree of 40 half-dulcimers, divided into equal parts by the third of a cackle of grouse geese, put over the result of 10 fine mackles, albeit small fine mackles, stretched over the total of 53 1/8 bottles of wild beast wine.
This is why I never liked math. I think I'm gonna start yawning.
Phew, what an incredibly boring book. No wonder the bookshop owner wanted to get rid of it so badly.
But since it makes us sleepy, maybe it will help the oyster.
If you're having trouble sleeping, perhaps you'd like me to read to you.
Hey, that would be great.
2 dulcimers raised to the degree of 40 half-dulcimers, divided into equal parts by the third of a cackle of grouse geese, put over the result of 10 fine mackles, albeit small fine mackles, stretched over the total of 53 1/8 bottles of wild beast lard.
Be quick.
Yields a gilded minnow of precise measurements, 2,069 centidrills by 3,000,000.
You know, I think I would like Alexander to narrate an audiobook. It's got a nice voice.
Not punts, as might be expected. This is not to say, however, in any sense whatsoever, that deviations in mean temperature of 5 or 6 dregs or so.
And there we go.
Alexander makes a grab for the pearl.
Hey, you fixed my mouth. It feels great.
The little oyster drifts into peaceful slumber with the rest of his oyster friends.
No, something just floated up to the beach here.
Alexander picks up the object floating in the water. It appears to be a string of letters. They say, "Where are you going?" Alexander decides to keep the odd sentence, even though it is incomplete.
You have to wait for it to come up here. If you try to grab it when it's still in the water, the current will grab you and you'll die. So,
Alexander pulls out his magic map.
we're going to go back to the Isle of
Alexander
Crown.
feels a strange pulling sensation.
Now, this pearl that we picked up, we take a look at it.
The flawless pearl is the largest Alexander's ever seen.
It's obviously worth a great deal. In fact, it may be worth as much as a certain insignia ring. Now remember, the pawn shop owner said he had a bunch of stuff to empty out that used to belong to that wizard. So we're gonna go through his trash and see if there's anything good in there.
Alexander sorts through the odds and ends that the pawn shop owner dumped into the pot. Magic exploding gum wrappers, a shattered crystal ball, a cracked wand, a fake thumb. Near the bottom, Alexander finds a little glass bottle labeled ink. It appears to be empty, but Alexander decides to take it anyway. You never know when a small bottle will come in handy.
Is there anything special about this bottle?
Alexander's carrying a little ink bottle. It appears to be empty.
Alright, so let's go back into the pawn shop.
Good day, Prince Alexander.
And we're gonna get back our insignia ring.
I found this large pearl. Might it be valuable enough to ransom back my family ring?
I have never seen such a perfect pearl. Certainly you can have your ring back.
Oh, I'm glad you didn't sell it. I'm a bit attached to it, I'm afraid.
Of course you are. You would be cold-hearted if you felt any differently. I am happy to see a family heirloom back with its rightful owner.
Okay, we're gonna do one last thing here in the pawn shop. We're gonna use our copper coin.
If Alexander wants...
I have this copper coin. Is it of any value to you at all?
Most interesting. I have never seen a Daventry coin before, but it is copper genuine enough. I might even find a buyer who is interested in foreign currency. The items on the front counter are the only things in the store that I can let go for the price of 1 copper. You may make your choice from there.
Alexander looks at the items on the counter to make his selection.
And we're gonna choose the nightingale.
That mechanical nightingale looks intriguing. I believe I'll take it.
Very well. Your coin is well spent. Remember, this is a pawn shop. I am always willing to take back my own goods in trade.
I'll remember. Thank you.
Alright, so I think that's gonna wrap up this episode. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you like what we're doing here. And we'll see you next time.